So we've told you, you know, how to protect your house. We've told you what to pack. We've told you when to go, but we haven't told you what to do once you've left your driveway. And we have our favorite fire chief next on the list, Chief Mathias, who's going to tell us about what happens once you get in that car and you decide to leave. So,
well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Jim Mathias with CAL FIRE. I'm the North Division Chief and in charge of Washington Ridge Camp. And you'll notice that I do not have a picture up. I don't have a camera on my computer, and that's the state of California trying to protect all of you. So you can thank your government for that. Just pretend you're looking at Matt Wallen. So Matt, if you put your face up there and just move your lips, he's much better looking than me, and that's probably best for everything. And before I start, as tradition continues, Bob, I just wanted to ask you a question, my friend. What do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common? It's a good history question. We're getting ready for school. What do they have in common? That's right, the same middle name. There you go. Okay, I'm trying to be quick. Okay, so we're going to talk about safety during an evacuation. Really what I put up here is just a really cool picture of a fire that has burned over an area, so you can kind of see what it looks like after that fire has burned over an area and it's continuing down and away from you. So you can see if you can get to this kind of an area after the fire is burned through, it's fairly safe to be there. So this is probably a half hour, maybe an hour after that fire's burned through there, and you can see the fire out in front of it. So next slide. Right here, we always complain about that warning. Doggone it, that warning is coming. We don't want to be inconvenienced. You know, PG&E is going to do a PSPS. The warning is always better than the consequences. So what we want you to do, and I want to echo what everybody else has said here, is give your family the best chance to survive a wildfire by evacuating early. Listen to what all these other folks in front of me have said and get prepared, get out early, pay attention, situational awareness. And right underneath there, the readyforwildfire.org is CAL FIRE's website. We also have some checklists there. It's also very good information. And so if you just want an alternate source, that's it. That's the website that you can go to. Next slide. Continuing right along, that's kind of what it looks like when the fire's right on top of you and you fail to get out in time. You don't need to wait for somebody to tell you to get out. If you're in that kind of a situation, you don't want to be in the same panic that these folks are in to get into their car and get out of the area. It's pretty late into the problem if this is how late you're waiting to get into your car. So you can see those folks are kind of in a rush to get out of there. What it's not showing is probably the other 5,000 cars that are on the road at the same time. So please, you don't have to wait for an evacuation order. We prefer that you get out of the area real early. And the other thing that really isn't shown here, other than you can kind of see the panic that these folks might be in, pretend there's another 100 to 150 people who really want to get the Twitter or TikTok shot or whatever that are driving towards that fire, blocking up the roads or standing by on the side of the road and blocking traffic that's trying to get out. So don't be one of those people. Don't contribute to the problem. Moving right along, we'll get right into the heart of the matter. Okay, if you're trapped in your car, so you've got the order to get out, you've done your best to get out of your home and you're driving down the road. This is one of those shots that was taken during the daylight. It's a heavy wind event fire. It's really dark. There's cars on the roadway, cars going both directions, embers blowing across the road. Make sure that you're doing all these things. If your car, when you pick it, pick the car that is the one that you want to drive in the movie Road Warrior. Susan talked about it a little earlier. Please don't take your RV and your trailer. You're going to want to drive your Road Warrior car that you're most familiar with, that's got fuel, that's ready to go, because you're going to go through a Road Warrior situation. If it was easy, everybody would get out during an evacuation and there'd be no problems. We're trying to have you be as safe as you can in the event where it's really hazardous and the wind has gone up and the fire's kind of entrapped you and you want to get out. So if you're in your car, remember that your car will protect you. Yes, your car's flammable. Yes, if it catches on fire, it's not a safe place to be. But trust me, you're way better in a running vehicle than you are standing outside with those embers hitting you. And so try to stay in your running car and keep it moving as long as possible. If you're in your car, try to get to an area that's clear of vegetation. Less vegetation is better. Never park blocking the roadway. So if you are moving along and you can see a wide spot in the road and you don't think you can make it past some fire that's jumping across the road or a tree or a line that's down, pull off the side of the roadway, because chances are somebody behind you is panicked and they're driving through that smoke and embers, and you don't want them to run into you, which will disable your car and their car, and now everybody's stuck. So get to a wide spot if you can, pull off the side of the road. Don't ever park blocking the roadway. If your car stalls in the roadway, try to roll it forwards or backwards and get off of the roadway so that you aren't blocking the roadway. Close all the vehicles and window vents. Hopefully when you started driving out through that smoky area, you'd already pushed the button on your dashboard that shows that you can recirculate area. Keeps some of the smoke out of your car, makes it easier for you to see, because when you get smoke in your eyes, obviously they start to water and it makes it harder to see and harder to breathe. So close those vehicle windows and vents. If your vehicle is operational, look for escape opportunities. What you need to know is that fire doesn't come in a 4-hour wall of flame that comes across the road. Fire ebbs and flows like the tide. It's not as rapid as a wave would come into the shore on the ocean, but it will be like a blast furnace blowing across the roadway for just a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds at the most, and then it's probably going to either burn all the vegetation away, or it's going to kind of go and give you a window of opportunity to escape. So look for those windows of opportunity to escape. If you run into a wall of flame, it's not going to be a wall of flame for long. It's either going to burn over, burn up, or move along to someplace else. So be patient, stay in your car, don't abandon it if it's still running and you're able to move. You may have to drive over a couple of power lines. You may have to push some tree branches out of the way with your bumper. You just want to avoid flattening your tires and making your car disabled. But if it's just a little bush or something across the road, push it out of the way with your car. Your car, like I said, you want to be in a road warrior car, so that's the situation. Think about that. If your car is disabled, cover yourself with a wool blanket, jacket, cotton, something that's non-flammable. Stay as low as you can. Just like you learned in grade school. Stop, drop, and roll. Stay low on the ground. The heat has a tendency to go up. Lie on the vehicle floor. Keep your lights on, your emergency flashers on. That'll tell other people that your car is there. It'll tell the rescuers, the firefighters, the law enforcement folks, Caltrans, CHP, anybody that you're there and that you need help. So keep your lights on and your emergency flashers on so your car is easier to see. Don't forget to use your cell phone. It may or may not help. It might not work, but you should at least give it a try. Call 911. We have a really good 911 location service. If you can get out on your cell phone, we can figure out where your cell phone is at within 1 meter or less nowadays. So the accuracy on cell phones and our 911 system is incredible. We can get you help, so try using your cell phone. Next slide, please. Okay, now that your car's failed and you're trapped while you're on foot, this is so easy to say. We can sit here in this meeting while we're all comfortable in our homes with our air conditioner going, and we can say, stay calm. That sounds like a great thing, right? It's not always easy to stay calm if you're surrounded by fire and you're on foot because your car is disabled, and your car is disabled because you're surrounded by fire. So look for an area that's free of vegetation or it has the least vegetation available. So stay away from vegetation that burns hot. And what do I mean by that? I mean like a large pile of some kind of plastic. Obviously a gas station would be a bad place to hang out. Any large wood piles that create a bunch of heat. If you can sit around a campfire or something like that in the wintertime and it's cold and that produces heat, chances are that that same thing will produce a bunch of heat laying alongside you if you're trying to escape. So stay away from vegetation that's going to burn hot. Get to an area that has the least amount of vegetation as possible. Look for things that can shield you from heat, including like buildings, large rocks, fences, and depressions. That heat that is blowing there, if you can get something between you and the flames, because once again, fire traditionally doesn't come up in a big fire whirl. It's usually a kind of a blowtorch type of effect that lasts 30 seconds or less, and it destroys everything in its path for sure. But if you can get something between you and the flames, a large rock, a depression, a mound of dirt, even a tree, a large diameter tree, it will block some of that heat so that radiant heat doesn't burn your skin. And what we tell people is the next bullet point. Remember, if winter water runs down it, summer fire runs up it. So if you're sitting in a depression and you're on the side hill or the top of a hill and the fire is below you, any way that water would run down that hill, fire is gases that are on fire, and they take the shape of a fluid, which means they take the shape of their surroundings, and that fluid will run uphill when superheated. So if you lay in a depression that's a kind of a drainage ditch, that's going to kind of make it hard for you to survive there. Sometimes these little movements, 10 feet, can be the difference between life and death. You may get burned, but you may live a little bit, you may have a better chance of living if you can just make those 10 to 20 foot movements away from where that blast furnace effect is happening. We lost one of our Helitack firefighters in a fire in Calaveras County a few years ago. Just a spectacular physical presence. She was a Division A athlete, AA athlete, and she was just in phenomenal physical condition. She was about 10 feet away from another firefighter, and she got caught in one of those depressions, and the fire came up, and superheated gases, she breathed them in. The firefighter that was 10 feet away from her lived without any injury whatsoever, and she died. So that's what 10 feet can do for you. If you can get away from that heat just a few feet, you can possibly even walk away from it. And then if you can't get away from it, lay face down, cover up your body with anything that's not flammable, tin, anything like that, and protect your airway. I want to say that again, protect your airway. Most people that die in fire die from breathing in carbon monoxide or superheated gases. If you can stay low and stay away from that superheated gases, you have a much higher chance of survival. Next slide. If you're trapped in your home is usually a very safe place for you to weather the fire. There are centuries of knowledge gone into building homes to keep the outside elements from getting into you. That is very true for fires too. Doesn't mean your house won't burn down. What it means is it's going to give you the chance for survival for 5, 10, 20, 30 minutes with that fire front passing over your home. And then your home, of course, on the outside is going to be on fire, but the sheetrock in the interior of your home and the insulation will keep that heat out long enough for the fire front to pass over you and for you to possibly get outside before your house is completely enveloped in the fire. So once again, easy to say, stay calm, keep all your family together inside of the house. You don't want to have to do some accountability checks on which family member is in which room. Keep everybody together so that everybody has the same chance for survival. Call 911, again, landline, cell phone. We will get you help as quickly as we can get there. And even I can't physically drive a fire engine to you, I might be able to get a bulldozer to you. I might be able to get air tankers to you. I might be able to get a helicopter to you. So please try calling 911 for help. That's kind of a no-duh thing to say, but sometimes people get so caught up in hiding that they forget to call for help and let us know that they're there. We're going to take great risks to get to you if I know that you're in that house. Whereas a house that's enveloped in fire and I don't think anybody's in it, I'm not going to risk my people. But if I know you and your family are in there, we're going to go through great risks to come get you out of there. Fill the sinks and the tubs with any cold water or any water that you can get a hold of, because once again, that can put out little spot fires. It can keep you cooled down. You can use it to cool burns. There's a lot of good things that you can do with cold water. Put on a couple, 3 layers of cotton or wool clothing. And I should have mentioned this when I said that you were out and you're in your go bag. Have some kind of eye protection. The reason that that fire has got caught up and you didn't get a chance to get out is because it's a wind-driven fire. So think about eye protection. Think about a couple of layers of clothing. Don't wear shorts and a tank top, although it might make you think that you're going to be cooler. Think about the people that live in the desert. They keep a couple, 3 layers of some kind of cotton or wool on the outside of their body to protect them from the sun. Don't put on, lycra or something that's super, that doesn't have an airspace that's tight or flammable, because all it's going to do is catch on fire and make your burns worse. But something that's non-flammable. Keep the doors and the windows closed but unlocked in your house so we can get to you more rapidly and get you out, and keep the lights on. It's the same thing like when you're trapped in your car. It lets us know where your home is, because it's very dark out with the smoke and everything blowing around, and it's hard to see where homes are. And if you still have power, then we can see where your home is, and it's easier for us to get to you. Stay inside your house until the fire passes. Whatever's happening outside of your house is way safer than, or whatever's happening outside is way more dangerous than what's happening on the inside of your house. Once your house catches on fire and you can see flames, then you're probably out of options. Stay away from the walls, stay on the interior of your home, and you'll be a little bit more safe. Last slide. Okay, once you're out of the area in your car, this is very, very important, folks. Don't stop to slap each other high fives and look back and take the pictures of the house. Get out of the way, because there's another 5,000 cars behind you that also want to get out. Folks, thanks for your time, and thanks for my job. That's it for me.
Thanks very much, Chief. I appreciate it very much. Good, very good advice.